Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. You know, folks, we've been covering this case, and yesterday, a guilty verdict came back in the Rachel Morin trial, homicide trial. Illegal immigrant Victor Martinez Hernandez. In less than 1 hour, he was convicted. The jury came back with a verdict. Such a tragic case as we followed this from the beginning. A Maryland jury on Monday found illegal immigrant Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez guilty of murdering Rachel Morin in August 2023. Morin, who was a 37-year-old mother of five, was jogging along the Mon Pa Trail in Bel Air, a quaint community northeast of Baltimore, when Martinez Hernandez ambushed, strangled, and beat her to death, according to authorities. Prosecutors rested their case on Friday, and on Monday, the defense rested its case after less than 10 minutes before closing arguments were made. This has been an emotionally grueling experience for Rachel's family, but they remain steadfast in their pursuit of justice, according to Randolph Rice, the family's attorney, previously said in a statement on Friday. Following the guilty verdict, Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gawler said the U.S. immigration system failed Morin. The failure here again is the immigration system that allowed this person to enter our country illegally and remain in our country and commit crimes in Los Angeles. And then here in Harford County, Gawler said, Homeland Security Special Agent in Charge Mike McCarthy said the fact that the suspect was an illegal immigrant adds another layer of pain and frustration to many of us in the community. It raises questions that deserve to be taken seriously about how we protect our neighborhoods, about how we enforce our laws, and how we prevent such tragedy in the future, according to McCarthy. Harford County autopsy results revealed that Morin had endured 15 to 20 blows to the head and died from a combination of strangulation and blunt force trauma. Her death was, of course, ruled a homicide. Just a tragic case all the way. And we're going to report a little more of this case to see how it all came down. But until then, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your loved ones. Hold on to your next door neighbor. Hold on to your thoughts. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone. The police off-the-cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
They were the ones who called 911 to get him help, and now they're calling for change.
And now a word from our sponsor, Mando Whole Body Deodorant. The thing I like most about Mando Body Deodorant is that it lasts all day and leaves me feeling clean and fresh. It doesn't quit even under the harshest heat and humidity. The fresh feeling keeps me dry and confident. No need to worry about unsightly sweat stains. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack. Use code POLICE in capital letters, POLICE, at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. So, folks, this case, tragic from beginning to end. And it took a great deal of time to arrest this individual because he fled to another part of the country. However, his DNA was matched to a forensic match from an attack in California, a home invasion where he assaulted a mom and her 9-year-old daughter. And that match enabled the police to put together an investigative genetic genealogy link that allowed the police time and space and the science to identify this man. And that is due to the science in the era we live in, just absolutely unbelievable. And he was identified. Let me play this from News Nation.
In Maryland. Marcus. Yeah, an extremely quick verdict here. If you want to take a look behind me, we're going to hear from the prosecuting team in just a few minutes here. They are setting up at this point right now. But I want to go over everything that was, in fact, Victor Martinez was found guilty for. Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez is guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, first-degree rape, third-degree sexual offense, and kidnapping. All 4 charges there he was convicted on and is guilty there. An extremely quick deliberation by the jury there, coming back again before 6 o'clock today. This was the day for closing arguments here. The prosecutor's office there for the state, they had a closing argument for about 3 hours, a little bit less than 3 hours there. And then for the defense, it was about under an hour. So, and again, the defense had a chance to call witnesses today, only called a single witness. That only lasted about 10 minutes, but I want to read it again. Guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, guilty of first-degree rape, guilty of third-degree sexual offense, and guilty of kidnapping. Again, this is all in regards to this case that we have been following, the grisly murder and rape of Rachel Morin back in 2023, and now justice for this family that they have been seeking. This is certainly going to be a long time for them, a lifetime of healing. But today they got an answer and they got justice in the form of these 4 guilty verdicts here, and they came extremely quick.
Thanks so much for watching.
So, what would you expect in a case like this? What could the defense be? And obviously, science. They had the DNA right very early in the case. And this sketch on the right, the sketch with him wearing the red baseball cap, was based on that forensic hit in California, where they were able to put a sketch together based on the witness's identification of him. And through that, and through investigative genetic genealogy, they were able to put a case together, an unbelievable case, just absolutely incredible that they were able to make an arrest in this case. And we really have to praise the police work, the resolve of not just the local police, but the FBI, Homeland Security, all of the federal agencies involved that were able to put this case together. Just that, if there's any light at the end of the tunnel, it was the outstanding police work that was done in this case.
The jury deliberated less than an hour today, and the illegal immigrant from El Salvador now faces life in prison. Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor says the verdict should be a message to Washington.
We need our government to work as efficiently as this investigation and this prosecution, to work together and take the politics out of it and fix the immigration system in this country and keep our communities safe.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Vincent Hill.
And I'm Maxine Stryker. This case has grabbed national attention over the past 18 months.
Yeah, Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor has more on the fallout from today's verdict.
Following weeks of emotional testimony, it took 12 jurors under an hour to find the suspect guilty of premeditated first-degree murder in addition to rape and kidnapping. The conviction likely going to put Martinez Hernandez behind bars for the rest of his life.
I think the quickness of the verdict speaks to the strength of the evidence in the case.
A chilling crime, shaking Harford County's quiet community to its core. On August 5th, 2023, Rachel Morin, a mother of 5 and exercise enthusiast, took to Bel Air's well-traveled Ma and Pa walking trail for a run she'd never returned from.
Rachel fought for her life as she was pulled 150 feet from the main trail into the woods.
State's Attorney Allison Healy calling 30 witnesses to testify over 7 days, attempting to tie Victor Martinez Hernandez to the murder. Among the mountain of evidence presented by the prosecution, hundreds of crime scene photos. These evidence markers tracking a trail of blood from the Ma and Pa's main path to the tunnel drain, where Morin's body was found brutally beaten. A state medical examiner testifying Morin's injuries suggest she fought back but was strangled, hit over the head 10 to 15 times, presumably with a rock, and likely unconscious when raped. A forensic expert later testifying Martinez Hernandez's DNA was found on Morin's Apple Watch, wrist, neck, and chest. Jurors also watching the suspect's initial interrogation.
Familia aparte de tu mamá.
Martinez Hernandez telling local law enforcement his DNA was planted. He doesn't know Morin. He's never been to Maryland, and he doesn't know anyone who lives there. This despite searches for Morin found on his phone and his own family and former coworkers testifying he worked and lived within a mile of the trail.
While no verdict or sentence can ever bring Rachel back, I am proud of the work that was done to ensure that justice was served and that Victor Martinez Hernandez will never again be a threat to another woman in his lifetime.
Embracing Healy outside the courthouse, Morin's half-sister, Erin Morin-Lehman.
I just feel very relieved. It's been a long road.
And Matt McMahon, the father of Morin's oldest child, Faye.
If Rachel were here, she'd only care about her kids right now.
Both beyond grateful for the guilty verdict, and now praying for a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
At sentencing, the state intends to seek the maximum penalty allowable by law.
But Victor Hernandez, he preyed on women, overpowering them. And I am so grateful that there were so many powerful women that took the power from him. You have Allison Healy, you have the judge, you have her daughter who was brave enough to be the first witness. You have the arresting patrol officer. I mean, there's just so many powerful women that took everything from Victor, and I'm grateful that they were able to do that.
Sentencing is expected to take place 2 to 3 months from now, as he has throughout the trial. Today, Martinez Hernandez showing no emotion, no visible reaction to the jury's decision. In Harford County, Rebecca Pryor, Fox.
Just absolutely heartbreaking, this case. How could you explain it? I mean, the politics come in, of course, because of the illegal alien and the fact that he came into this country, came and left, was thrown out 3 times and kept coming back. And the fact that he was wanted in his home country of El Salvador for a murder. He was actually wanted. So all of these things we put together, and the tragic events leading up to this poor woman, Rachel Morin, jogging at the Monpont Trail, where she felt safe, an exercise enthusiast. And we can not even, the praise that we have to give to these officers that put this case together, an extremely difficult case. Forensic evidence, DNA, blood evidence, digital evidence. And then when they got the match, the DNA, the forensic hit on the DNA to the crime scene in California, and then able to produce a sketch like this right here, a sketch that no doubt aided in the apprehension and identification of Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez, now facing life without parole. It's too bad that Maryland doesn't have the death penalty, because he certainly would be a candidate. And I think that based on his past, based on the viciousness of this crime, I think that he would absolutely get the death penalty if it was an option in Maryland. This is Sheriff Gaylor. I want to play a little bit of this. He's going to speak about partially the investigation.
Good evening. I just want to start off by absolutely expressing the thanks from me as the Sheriff of Harford County on behalf of our men and women, particularly our criminal investigators who worked this case so hardly, and our Harford County community who, as you heard from Allison, were so moved by this horrific story and had the world, not just the nation, but the world following. When Miss Healy says that they were there working this case side by side, she meant it. They were there from the outset at the crime scene along the trail, working alongside our people, hoping for this day, preparing for this day when we would put this person, this monster, in front of a jury and let the evidence speak for itself, which it has. And in record time, what seems like record time, 46 minutes deliberation, returned the just verdict. So I want to thank Ms. Healy and her incredible staff. We have a great working relationship, and there are some cases in a career that really test you, no matter what your role might be. And certainly her coming in as state's attorney 2.5 years ago, this is a lot of experience behind that. But as the individual sitting in the elected state's attorney's chair, she was presented with this super large case. She sat there with her co-counsel, Mr. Ryden, and prosecuted this case and got the just verdict. I would say just sentencing ahead, but we know Maryland did away with the death penalty, which I can't think of any case more appropriately fitting. And sadly, our legislature has decided otherwise. I do want to thank, again, you heard from me at the time of the arrest last June, the men and women of the Sheriff's Office and all of our allied partners, many behind me today, many who couldn't be here on short notice. But without that cooperation at the state, the local, and the federal level, working hand in hand with one another with no restrictions set on by silly legislators who want to be pro-criminal, but actually working for public safety, this is what you're able to accomplish. You're able to find a needle in a haystack, and that needle was this monster. The haystack was the world, and working hand in hand, working the evidence, working through technology and the science, we were able to find that individual and bring him to court today to face this justice system. Allison used the word closure when you talk about Rachel's family, Patty, all the members of Rachel's family. And we all know there's no such thing as closure. I also said this at the arrest. They have to live with this for the rest of their life. Closure would mean we bring Rachel back, and we all know that that's not possible. They have to live with the fact, knowing that this person who took Rachel's life in such a horrific way, that he will be removed from society and never allowed to harm another human being again. And that's what we have to take away from this as a success. But with the failure in here, and I don't want to, it shouldn't be political, but the failure here again is the immigration system that allowed this person to enter our country illegally and remain in our country and commit crimes in Los Angeles and then here in Harford County. The crime is the Kayla Hamilton case, also from this county. We need our government to work as efficiently as this investigation and this prosecution to work together and take the politics out of it and fix the immigration system in this country and keep our communities safe. And with that, I will end my remarks, and I'll be happy to take some questions at the end, as Allison said. But Special Agent in Charge Bill Dabano has a few remarks.
So that's the sheriff that ran this investigation, Sheriff Gala. Infrequently the police get this much credit, and they deserve it. What a job. When he talked about a needle in a haystack, the needle was this perpetrator. Who was he? How do we get him identified? And the haystack, as the sheriff said, was the world, the entire world. So we had to find, I'm not including myself, they had to find the needle in the haystack. And here's the needle. And this was part of the needle also. The sketch drawn after he was identified, forensically identified, and identified in the sketch from the victims in California. And then the haystack, or the needle, was identified as Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. And the haystack, the entire world. He was found and brought to justice, and now prosecuted and found guilty. And now all that is left is the sentencing. So folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Very emotional case. I felt a lot of emotion with this case myself. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff. Have a great day, everyone, and God bless.
One episode just ain't enough.